Okay, so this is the third subtopic of number system. So we have 1.3 indices, set, and logarithm. Okay, so we have a few rules to memorize. So we have around 8 rules. So let us go one by one. So the first one, we have a to the power of m multiply with a to the power of n. As you can see, we have the same base over here. So if we have the same base, multiplication within the same base, we're going to add the index. And then for here, we have a division for the same base. Both of them, we have a. So that means we're going to minus the index. And then we have a to the power of m to the power of n. So what will happen is that we're going to multiply the power. So it will become a to the power of mn. Any number to the power of 0 is equal to 1 as long as that number is not equal to 0. If we have something that has a negative power, so a to the power of negative m is actually 1 over a to the power of m. Okay, so if you have a to the power of m over n, okay, so do check, this is your numerator, this is your denominator. So for your denominator, it will become the root, so the n root. Meanwhile, for your numerator, it will become the power. So this is the n root for a to the power of m. Or you can actually separate this using what we have learned during the third one. So a to the power of m over n. This is a to the power of 1 over n to the power of m. Okay, so a to the power of 1 over n, this one is actually the n root of a. And then everything to the power of m. Okay, so over here is that if you want to expand some number, so a times with b is gonna be a to the power of n, b to the power of n. If you have a over b to the power of n, it will become a to the power of n over b to the power of n. Okay, so let us see some example. Okay, so let's say we want to simplify 25 over 16 to the power of 3 over 4 to the power of negative 2 over 3. So before this, we have seen that if we have a to the power of m to the power of n, so this is actually a to the power of mn, so we can actually multiply them. So 3 over 4 times with negative 2 over 3, so these two cancel out. This one will become 2, this one will become 1. So that means what do we have is actually 25 over 16 to the power of negative 1 over 2. And then if we have a negative as our index, so a to the power of negative m is actually 1 over a to the power of m. So what do we have here is 1 over 25 over 16 to the power of 1 over 2. And then of course, we have some fraction to the power of something. So it's like having a over b to the power of n. So this is a to the power of n over b to the power of n. And then 1 over 2 is actually a square root. So we're going to have 1 over, so the square root of 25 over the square root of 16. So this one will become 1 over, so square root of 25 is 5. Square root of 16 is 4. So since we have a fraction in our denominator, we can actually take the reciprocal of them. So this is actually 4 over 5. Okay, so done with the first question. Let us proceed with the second question. Okay, so for the second one, we have to simplify 2x cubed y to the power of negative 1 square 4 square root of x y to the power of 4. Okay, so let me simplify the numerator as well as the denominator. So numerator first, 2 with a square, so it will become 4. X cubed square, so it will become x to the power of 6. Y to the power of negative 1 square, so it will become y to the power of negative 2 over 4. And then square root of x is simply x to the power of 1 over 2. And then y to the power of 4. Okay, so now let us simplify numbers with numbers. So we got 4 and 4, so numbers and numbers, we can actually cancel them. And then we have x to the power of 6, x to the power of half. So a division between the same base, so we can minus the index. So 6 minus half. And then over here also a division between the same base, so minus the index, so -2, -4. So what do we have is x to the power of 6 minus half, so 6 is 12 over 2, so this one will become 11 over 2. And then y to the power of -2, -4, so this is y to the power of -6. So we can actually accept this answer, or you can actually bring this one down, so it will become x to the power of 11 over 2 over y to the power of 6, so either one. Right, so let me proceed with the last one. So for the last one, we have to simplify 50 to the power of 3 over 2 times with 10 to the power of -1 over 2 times with 1 over the square root of 1 to 5. Okay, so basically for 50, 10 and 1 to 5, I do see 5 as the factor for each of them. So let me see what can I get from there. Okay, so over here 50 is actually 2 times with 25, and 25 is actually 5 square. So what I can do is I can change them to become 2 times with 5 square to the power of 3 over 2. 10 is actually 2 times 5, so this is 2 times 5 to the power of -1 over 2 times with, okay, so now let us change 1 to 5, so 1 to 5 is actually 5 times with 25, or we can say that it's supposed to be 5 cube, so we're gonna get the square root of 5 cube. Okay, so now I'm gonna simplify this one, so we can apply the power for each of them. So this one gonna be 2 to the power of 3 over 2 times with 5 to the power of, so 2 times with 3 over 2, cancel out the 2, so 5 cube times with 2 to the power of -half times 5 to the power of -half. And then for this one, I can actually bring them up. Okay, so firstly, the square root of 5 cube, so this is actually 5 cube to the power of half. So this is actually 5 to the power of 3 over 2. And then I bring them up, so it will become negative. So this is 5 to the power of -3 over 2. Okay, so now let us collect the common base. So I have 2 to the power of 3 over 2, 2 to the power of -half. So it will become 2, 3 over 2 minus with 1 over 2 times with 5 to the power of 3 minus 1 over 2 minus with 3 over 2. Okay, so what do we have is 2 to the power of, so 3 over 2 minus 1 over 2, so it will become 2 over 2, or 2 to the power of 1 times with 5, and then 3 minus half minus 3 over 2, so this one will become -4 over 2, which is 2, so 5 to the power of 1. So 2 to the power of 1 times with 5 to the power of 1. For this one, the answer is simply equal to 10. Okay, so that's all for the index. I'll see you guys for the set.